Have you ever realized that the person you trust most in the world has been quietly betting against your happiness for years? My name is Maya, and I always thought my older sister, Sarah, was my biggest supporter. When our dad passed away 3 years ago, she was the one who held our family together. She handled the paperwork, the bills, and the funeral arrangements while my mom and I were drowning in grief. I looked up to her like she was a saint. She was the successful one with the corporate job and the organized life, while I was just a struggling freelance artist trying to find my footing. Sarah always told me to focus on my art and not to worry about the family's finances because dad hadn't left much behind anyway. I believed her. I spent 3 years living in a tiny, cramped studio, skipping meals to afford paint, and feeling guilty every time Sarah generously Venmoed me $50 for groceries. The reality check happened 2 months ago when I was helping my mom move into a smaller apartment. I found an old, dusty leather portfolio tucked at the bottom of a wardrobe that Sarah must have missed. Inside wasn't just a will, it was a detailed life insurance policy and a deed to a small rental property in the city. According to the dates, my dad had left a significant sum specifically for my artistic development and future security. He knew I'd struggle more than Sarah, so he tried to level the playing field. But when I looked at the payout documents, Sarah's signature was everywhere. She hadn't just managed the money, she had funneled it into a high-interest savings account in her own name. She had been living off the interest of my inheritance while watching me struggle to pay rent in a place with moldy walls. I didn't storm into her house screaming. I wanted to understand the why first. I invited her to coffee and casually brought up dad's finances, mentioning I was thinking of looking into his old accounts for some tax help. Sarah didn't even blink. She looked me dead in the eye, took a sip of her latte, and said, "Maya, honey, don't waste your time. Dad died with more debt than assets. I've been using my own savings to help you out these last few years. I didn't want to tell you because I knew it would hurt your pride." The level of casual, polished lying was sociopathic. She was gaslighting me into thinking I owed her my life, all while she was wearing a designer coat bought with the money dad intended for my first gallery show. The emotional twist came when I realized she wasn't doing it because she needed the money. Sarah is rich, her salary is easily 6 figures. She did it because she couldn't stand the idea of me being free. She wanted me to stay the struggling little sister who was dependent on her. She wanted the power. Every time she gave me that $50, she was buying my loyalty and my felt inferiority. I felt a sick sense of clarity. My sister didn't love me, she loved the version of me that was beneath her. I spent the next month working quietly with a lawyer, gathering every bank record and forged signature. It turns out she had even been charging our grieving mother management fees for handling the estate. The ending wasn't a big movie explosion, it was a quiet, cold meeting in a lawyer's office. When I slid the evidence across the table, Sarah's perfect sister mask finally slipped. She didn't apologize, she just scoffed and said, "You would have wasted it anyway, I was keeping it safe." I didn't say a word. I just let the lawyer explain that she had 48 hours to transfer the full amount plus interest, or we were going to the police with the fraud charges. Today, she's been cut off by the entire family. My mom is devastated, and I'm finally living in a decent apartment with a real studio. But the hardest part isn't the money, it's the silence. Every time I achieve something now, I realize there's no one to call, because the person I thought loved me most was actually the one holding my head under the water.